Hello everyone and welcome to my Mythic Plus guide for Outlaw Rogue in Shadowlands. In this guide I will try to be very brief when I'm talking about the talents, stats, soulbinds and then the covenants. Which one is the best for Mythic Plus? Is there a best for Mythic Plus? And then I'm gonna go a little bit more in depth and talk about how to actually play your character in Mythic Plus and how to do as much damage as possible and what your role actually is as an Outlaw Rogue. I min-max a lot, I theorycraft a lot, I have learned so much and I'm still learning new things, and now I want to share everything I have learned with you. And if you have any questions at all, or if you disagree with me at something, you can either leave a comment below or join me on Twitch. It's skebs_, and I'll try to answer anything you ask. Alright, let's start out with talking about the covenants. So you probably wonder which is the best covenant for Mythic Plus. Well, actually damage-wise, if you try to the most damage potential is the Necrolord. However, all of them are really close together and you won't lose that much at all if you play any other covenant. We are lucky as a rogue that all of them are very close together. So you can choose whichever one you want. In this guide, I'm playing as a Necrolord, so I'm gonna show you some Necrolord specific things in Mythic Plus that you can do to maximize your DPS. But you don't need to be a Necrolord to watch this guide. There's gonna be a ton of useful things for me to show you. Alright, so Covenant out of the way, I'll just quickly show you the Soulbind that I'm using. I'm Emily for Mythic Plus. Hermir is just for raiding. Count the Odds is our single best conduit. And here you can either go with Sleight of Hand or Sudden Fractures. For me, Sudden Fractures is actually simming like a tiny bit more than Sleight of Hand. But right now, I like Sleight of Hand a little bit more, so that is the one I'm using. And then let's go on with the talents. I'll try to be brief, however there are some things we need to talk about. On this row, Quick Draw is for Mythic Plus every single time. Ghostly Strike is more for raiding, especially in single targets. Here there's really nothing else than Acrobatic Strikes. This row I want to talk a little bit about, because some people really like to go with Deeper Stratagem or Vigor, but the best talent here will be Marked for Death, like every single time, in every single scenario. Doesn't matter which Mythic Plus you're running. Even, I don't know if you know what Sniping is, I will show you a little bit later in the video, but for those that do know, even if you're not good with Sniping, Marked for Death is gonna bring a lot more value than the other talents on this row every single time. So just go for Marked for Death. Here, Cheat Death is good. Here you can decide, it's really up to your playstyle. Prey on the Weak or Dirty Tricks. I play around with it a little bit depending on who I'm playing with, but I usually tend to go with Prey on the Weak. Completely optional. Alacrity, we go with it every single time. None of these come even close. And this row I also want to talk about, because Killing Spree is actually gonna be your main. You will mainly go with Killing Spree. There are some specific situations where you might want Blade Rush. I go with Blade Rush for Sanguine Depths, for example. Simply because Killing Spree is quite dangerous there. And in the Gauntlet, Blade Rush gains a ton of value because there's so many mobs there. And Killing Spree is capped, while Blade Rush is not capped. But it doesn't matter which legendary you're using. Killing Spree will still most likely be the best. But it shouldn't really matter that much. Blade Rush is not that far behind. You can go with it if you really want. Some top players like to go with Blade Rush for certain dungeons, and then they go with Killing Spree for other ones. I go with Killing Spree for everything except Sanguine Depths. But you can experiment and try it out yourself. And let's go over to the legendaries. So there are 3 different ones that we can use in Mythic Plus. Either Celerity, Mark of the Master Assassin, or Deathly Shadows. If this is your first rogue, and or let's say you're crafting your first legendary as a rogue, if you plan to raid as well, go with Celerity. Celerity is our best, like, overall. It's the best one we use in raids, so you will not be far behind in damage at all in Mythic Plus as well. However, if you're crafting a legendary specifically for Mythic Plus, then I strongly recommend Mark of the Master Assassin or Deathly Shadows. Mark of the Master Assassin is actually, it's simming a little bit better. It's performing a little bit better as well, damage-wise, than Deathly Shadows, but Deathly Shadows is not far behind at all. And a lot of top players are actually using Deathly Shadows. But if you really want to min-max, as of right now, with the information we have, Mark of the Master Assassin is a little bit better. And you use it for, it's good for PvP as well, so... But personal preference, you can go whichever one you want. And then let's talk a little bit about the stats. Usually it's gonna be in this order: versatility, haste, and critical strike. Mastery is completely useless, so you want as little mastery as possible. However, versatility, haste, and crit are all really close together. So I mean, if you have a lot of versatility, the other ones are going to gain value, and you know, so forth. So the best thing you can do is sim your character and see which one is the best for you. If you want to sim for Mythic Plus, you can actually use Dungeon Slice, which you can find in raid bots, because Dungeon Slice is really well optimized for rogues. So you can use that when you're simming items for Mythic Plus, and then you will see which stat is the best for you. And briefly about the offhand, because people ask a lot about the offhand, which is the best. Should you use a dagger or should you use a sword? Here again, sim your character, you're gonna see which one is the best. However, the reason dagger is simming so well is because of instant poison. When you have a fast weapon in your offhand, you're gonna get more instant poison procs. That's why usually a dagger will sim a little bit better than a sword in your offhand. But it can vary with the item level, with the stats, so really you should always sim your character if you want to know what the best stat is, what the best item is. Alright, let's talk a little bit about how to actually play your character in Mythic Plus and how to do as much damage as possible. Because even if you have all the correct stats, the gear and everything, there's still gonna be quite a big difference between the damage done of a really good Outlaw Rogue and a really mediocre or bad Outlaw Rogue. Because there are so many things that you can do incorrectly, and I still do mistakes because you're pressing so many buttons all the time, especially as a Necrolord, like we're sniping with Serrated Bone Spike as well. So for me, it's extremely fun. It's a piano class, but it's very challenging, so a lot of things can go wrong. Before I show you anything in game, let's talk about at least 3 rules that you need to follow in Mythic Plus. First is use Blade Flurry on cooldown. Never waste combo points. And do not wait on cooldowns. Let's talk about this. Blade Flurry on cooldown, that means when you do your opener from stealth, the first thing you want to do is use Blade Flurry. You want to have as high upkeep on Blade Flurry as possible, and that is how we're doing a lot of damage. If Blade Flurry comes back and you still have Blade Flurry active, just use Blade Flurry. Just don't wait on it. Just use it again. Because we never wait on Blade Flurry. Only exception, of course, is single target on boss fight. Other than that, use it on cooldown every time. And the second thing I want to talk about, never waste combo points. What that means is, if you have max combo points and you use a generator, which will give you more combo points, than like you're wasting combo points. But that is obvious. The other thing, the important thing is, let's say you have the broadside buff up from Roll the Bones. What that does is your generating abilities will give you 1 extra combo point, which means that Sinister Strike, for example, it will give you 2 combo points instead of 1. Same thing with Ambush. And I think it's the same thing with Serrated Bone Spike and Pistol Shot. So when you have broadside up, you will use your finishers on 4 combo points. Because if I'm at 4 combo points and I'm using a Sinister Strike with broadside buff up, it will go up to 6, but I don't have 6, so it will waste 1. And we want to use every single combo point. So we use a finisher, and then we continue on. Otherwise, if you don't have broadside, we finish at 5. And with quick draw, it's called opportunity proc. If you get an opportunity proc, that pistol shot, even without broadside buff, without it, the pistol shot will give you 2 combo points. So if I'm Sinister Striking a target, I get up to 3 combo points. I'm sorry, if I get 4 combo points, and now I get opportunity proc. I'm at 4 combo points, I have an opportunity proc, it will give me 2 combo points. You use a finisher, because you will never use another Sinister Strike if you have an opportunity proc up. You want to use that opportunity proc, and then you can use Sinister Strike again. So, at 4 combo points, you get an opportunity proc, you use a finisher on 4, so you can use your pistol shot before using the next Sinister Strike. And the third rule, do not wait on cooldowns. If you play sub, for example, or some other class, you might, with our big 3-minute cooldowns, you might be used at having cooldown management. You're waiting to use your cooldowns at the best possible moment, saving it for a boss, saving it for a big pack. As Outlaw, the secret to do a lot of damage is never wait on your cooldowns. Like Adrenaline Rush, for example, it's a very bad cooldown, to be honest, at least compared to other specs and classes. But the reason why it's good is because of the high uptime. We can use it, we have a pretty high uptime on it. Whenever we get it, we use it right away. Same thing with Vanish and Killing Spree. You really don't want to wait on it. Like if a pack is just dying and there's another pack coming right up, that then maybe you can wait a second or 2 with it. But I mean, you're coming into a Pride and you have Vanish and Killing Spree up. You use Vanish and Killing Spree. We don't wait on them at all. We want to get them back as quickly as possible so we can use it again. The more times you will use it during the dungeon, the more damage you will do. So those 3 rules: Blade Flurry on cooldown, never waste combo points, and do not wait on cooldowns. Alright, let's talk a little bit about the opener. It's the first pack of the dungeon. The tank is about to pull. Remember, everything I do you can see up here. From stealth, of course, tricks of the trade on the tank. Mark for death, full combo point slice and dice. Roll the bones, ambush, blade flurry, and we want to use adrenaline rush. Now, most of the time we will have 3 combo points. So we want to build up to 5 with Serrated Bone Spike and Sinister Strike. Then we use Between the Eyes. After this, we want to go into our Vanish to Killing Spree combo. Of course, after our 100% crit buff has run out. I will show that after the opener. The second opener is like during the dungeon. You're coming to the next pack. You have Slice and Dice up, or let's say you already have some combo points. I mean, if Ambush is gonna make you waste combo points, let's say you have 4 combo points and Ambush is gonna give you 2. In that case, we use Dispatch instead from Stealth, because both Ambush and Dispatch benefit from Count the Odds Conduit. So it doesn't really matter if you use Ambush or Dispatch from Stealth. So a lot of times you're going to use Dispatch. And then we continue our rotation from there. And then let's talk about the Vanish and Killing Spree combo. We want to make sure we have Blade Flurry up before we use Vanish and Killing Spree. And we want, of course, Roll the Bones, and we want to have Slice and Dice up. The best case scenario, you will have Mark for Death. This means that we will build up to 5 combo points before we do the combo. We have max combo points, we Vanish, we use Dispatch, Mark for Death, Between the Eyes, Killing Spree. That is the best possible scenario, but many times you won't have Mark for Death up, and we never wait for Mark for Death. We want to use Vanish and Killing Spree on cooldown. So, if you have max combo points, we use Vanish, Dispatch, Killing Spree, and then go on from there. If we don't have max combo points, let's say we have 3 combo points, Vanish, Ambush, so we have full combo points, Between the Eyes, and Killing Spree. You can also, if you want, what I do, I've been doing for quite some time, I use Killing Spree before the Between the Eyes, but the reason why using Between the Eyes first is a little bit better is while you're doing Killing Spree, the mobs will move, probably. I mean, if the tank is kiting, they're gonna move somewhere else. And the Killing Spree will always take you back to the original position. So if Killing Spree is the first thing I use after I come out from Vanish, then I'm not gonna have time to use Between the Eyes. If they have moved somewhere, I'm gonna be way over here, and I don't have time to run to them and use Between the Eyes. So that's why we want to spend those combo points before we use Killing Spree. Then let's talk a little bit about sniping. For those that don't know what sniping is, it's when we use either Mark for Death or Serrated Bone Spike on a target that will die, and once it dies, you get the cooldown back. Because both of these function the same way. So we want to use both of them on a target that will die next. And let's say it's a big pack. We kind of know which one is going to die. We use Mark for Death and use of finishers. We Serrated Bone Spike, use of finishers. Then he dies. Then we can use both of them again. And then we can use them again and again. It's going to do a lot of damage when we keep doing that. And Serrated Bone Spike works with Blade Flurry. Let's say I'm a Blade Flurry up. I use Serrated Bone Spike on him. It's going to do damage on this guy as well. So I mean, Serrated Bone Spike is really, really good. And this is why Necrolord is so good in Mythic Plus, because we can keep using Serrated Bone Spike over and over again. And the more, let's use those combo points, let's use Serrated Bone Spike on this guy. We generate 3 combo points. Let's waste those combo points and use it on this guy. See, now we get even more combo points, and we keep doing this. We keep spending them. Mark for that, keep spending them, and we're doing so much damage. I actually forgot to mention the Mouseover Macro that I was using in this video. And I want to add this to the guide because it's really useful and it's gonna help you do more damage. I'm gonna put the macro down below so you can copy paste it. But the reason why it's so good, I'm attacking this guy. Let's say I have between the eyes on him. Now I can use my Mouseover Macro to use Mark for Death on that guy while I'm still attacking this. Same thing for Serrated Bone Spike. Same thing for Kick. Same thing for Gouge. Same thing for Kidney Shot. And same thing for Blind. If I swap targets, let's say I'm tabbing. Now I'm attacking this guy and I'm losing out on all of the between the eyes crits that I could get. So I mean, I'm wasting damage. Some tab targeting is also unreliable. Clicking as well. It's faster to just mouse over. And yeah, that's it. I'll put it down below. Then let's talk about the opportunity proc. That is from our quick broad talent. This has a little bit, the rule about the opportunity proc is if you get the proc, you do not want to use Sinister Strike again before you have used your opportunity proc. So, let's say, remember the rule about the broadside. If we have 4 combo points, we use our finisher. The same thing applies with opportunity proc. We get to... Now I got the opportunity proc now, but let's say we are at 4 combo points. Now, if I use pistol shot now, I'm gonna get 2 combo points, so we're wasting 1. So that's why we use finisher on 4, so I now can use my opportunity proc. So remember, try to use your opportunity proc right away. Never use Sinister Strike if you have it up. That should be it for now. I have one trick actually as a bonus for watching all of this. Thank you very much. You know that there's a lot of useful things you can do as engineer. There's combat res, but there is one thing that don't many people actually know about, and that is the cardboard assassin. You can get this cardboard assassin from Cataclysm Engineering. What you need to do is just learn, when you learn engineering and then learn Cataclysm Engineering, just start making stuff and you have a random chance to get it. I got to 21 Cataclysm Engineering and then I learned the cardboard assassin. So it's either I was super lucky or it's just super easy to get. I don't know. But what it does, puts a cardboard assassin on the ground that will taunt all the enemies around it for a few seconds, and it can save the tank's life. So they're gonna be very happy you have it. That should be it for this guide. If you have any questions at all, just ask me, leave it down below, or I really recommend the Ravenhold Discord, full of min-maxers. They're really good, and they are the biggest reason why I know so much about rogues, so shout out to them. And if you like my video, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch, and look forward to my next video where I will run a Mythic Plus, and I will talk over it and tell you what I'm thinking about and how to maximize your damage and the mistakes that I do and how we can learn from them. So look forward to that. For now, thank you very much. Have a good day.